Hello, everyone. Welcome to our class. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes to come on. Hello, Donna. Lovely to see you tonight. What brings you to this neck of the woods?
Well, saves me going anywhere, doesn't it? Well, I just want inspiration to go with all my Christmas cooking because,
Excellent. And I'm sure you'll be able to give us inspiration as well with your years of expertise.
I've got curry nuts here.
Oh, yum.
Cooking and everything else. Hi, Beck. How you doing? Nice kitchen. I love it.
Thanks.
Very cute. Happy with it? Works like it should?
Yeah, everything has its place. It's fantastic.
Yeah, good. Great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Looks
I loved the Instagram stories just showing all the little details in your kitchen. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I even wrote it all up in a list of all the supplies and the products. And if anyone needs to know anything from my new kitchen, I can just send them a list.
So good.
Save some questions. All right, I'm turning off.
All right. We are going to wow you guys with a few Christmas dishes today, or ones that you may choose to do at Christmas time or in the festive season. If you're not celebrating Christmas with your family, then, potentially you're spending some time with them. So the ones that we've chosen today are ones that we decided we liked, and we thought would showcase a little bit of function and variety for you as well. So up first, we'll just get straight into cooking and you guys can ask questions. We'll share the links in the chat and let's make this fun and interactive. So Sally, you're up first with our mango chutney.
Hi everyone, I'm Sally from Marimbula from Team Sapphires and I'm doing a mango chutney. Now I've already prepped a couple of steps. So a mango chutney, I have actually already toasted some Szechuan peppercorns and then grinded those in the Thermomix. And then I've gone on to chop some onion, garlic and ginger. And next I have just finished the stage of the dissolving, sort of like the sugar and water stage. So now it's a case of adding in all the other beautiful ingredients. I don't know if anyone's made a chutney before or anything like that. If you have, let me know in the chat as well. I'd love to know. So I'm actually going straight to a step 5 because this is now adding in all the different additional ingredients. So first up, we are just going to pop into the bowl with the sugar, the Szechuan peppercorns. So again, toasting those in the Thermomix was absolutely delightful because it was really aromatic as well. If you don't find Szechuan peppercorns, you can just use peppercorns. Then I've got the mixed ginger, onion and garlic in there. Handy having the 2 bowls actually, because I didn't have to do the other bowl. So I'm just going to pop that in, scrape that around like so. Next ingredient we have is the mango. So luckily when I was we chose this dish, I had a tray of mangoes from a mango drive all ripe, ready to use. So I'm using fresh mango. They all go in. Again, you can actually use different fruits as well. So if you've got a glut of something else in the summer, like peaches or apples, that sort of thing, you can certainly use those as well. I'm using apple cider vinegar. You can choose a different vinegar. Each vinegar will also give you a slightly different taste. This is apple cider, so it gives a bit of a appley taste, I hope. And
Sally, what does the recipe ask for?
Just said vinegar. So I did a little bit of Googling to see in mango chutneys traditionally what is used. And it was sort of mentioned about, different types you can use, but the reason why. Yeah. All right. So I've got a teaspoon of salt.
And is that the seasoning box from the mix shop, Sally?
Yes, it's the bamboo.
I haven't seen it before in person. It looks bigger than I thought it would.
It is actually. It's a really nice size as well. So basically, yeah, really handy. And I love it because you can mill in your Thermomix the pepper and salt, have it handy, ready to go. Okay, so we then have our turmeric. Now, having said that, I'm using a ground turmeric. You could actually use a fresh turmeric, I reckon, during the onion garlic chop as well. And then I've got 100 grams of raisins. Put those in too. And now we have got the spring basket on because we're going to be going over 95 for, I think it's 45 minutes. So yeah, 45 minutes, reaching up to 100, and it's just at speed 1. So the good thing is with these chutneys and jams, you're never really going to have any basically time at all to just getting it going. There we go. You're never going to have to worry about the cooking time. You can just leave it be. Once it gets going, go and do something else and come back to it. So always a good thing. So that's 45 minutes. I'll go on mute now and pass you over to the next one, Claire.
Thanks, Sally. I'm up next. Hello, everyone. Beck McAllister is my name, and I live in the Southern Highlands of New South Wales, just south of Sydney. I'm going to be talking to you today a little bit about Christmas gift giving. This is something I've done a lot of over the last few years as a consultant, is sort of helping my customers make edible gifts for Christmas. And I've kind of chosen a theme today. So all of these recipes I'm showing you are an apple theme. So the first thing that I'm doing is an apple butter. So apple butter is something that you can use as a filling for tarts, spread it on toast, put it on a bagel, all sorts of things. I did need to start the recipe before you joined because there's a 25-minute cook time at the beginning. So let me explain to you what I did. So into the bowl went basically whole apples, because you want the skin and the cores, not the stalks, because that's where the pectin is. So that helps to set any sort of jams or jellies or things like that. So 700 grams of apples went into the bowl, chopped that up on speed 4.5. To that, we added apple cider vinegar, quite a lot of apple cider vinegar. It had spices. So it's got, I'm just checking what was in it, ginger, cloves, cinnamon, and what was the last one? Nutmeg. So all of our ground spices went in, a little bit of lemon juice and sugar. So that's been cooking for 25 minutes. And I'm just going to show you where it got up to before I move on to the next step. So I'm going to attempt to show you the consistency. So that's it there. So it's still quite chunky. The next thing that I need to do is actually just blend that. And then I'm going to talk to you about how to sterilize your jars while this is cooking.
Beck, how did you decide? Did you have an abundance of apples and you decided to discover
I did.
this
I
recipe?
actually had a heap in the fruit bowl that were looking a little bit yuck, so I wanted to use them up. Yeah, that was why I decided to do apples. And also because this time of year, apples are in season and they're cheap. So if you're wanting to save money, use cheap ingredients. All right, so I just need to blend this on speed 8 for 1 minute. So bear with me.
So I'm guessing any kind of apple would be great for this. And maybe if you don't want it too sweet, Granny Smith's, yeah. I've got this amazing apple tree in my backyard. I thought I was planting, it's fun. I thought I was planting Granny Smith's, but actually I discovered they grow like this big and they're super, super tart. And I took an apple to the apple farmer at the markets in Canberra, and I asked him what it was. And he said it's a French apple, a French cooking apple, and they just get so big. So, but one apple makes probably 3 dishes. It's just ridiculous. So I will definitely be trying Beck's recipes when they're ripe.
I just cut that short by 5 seconds because I was sick of waiting. Did I miss some really wonderful tips there, Claire?
I was just talking about my homegrown French cooking apple.
Okay. The birds ate all my apples this year. I'm not going to get any off my tree.
That's
So-
not very nice.
I know. So what we've got here now is like a really lovely sort of runny applesauce consistency. And it's already quite dark. But we're going to cook that down now for another 30 minutes. But before we do that, and I am going to move this to the Thermomix behind me so that I can show you some other things. But I wanted to talk about sterilising your jars. So what I'm going to do is put my varoma on top. So with this recipe, you actually cook the first 25 minutes with the varoma up there anyway. That actually allows all the steam to escape, but it can't bubble out. So rather than sitting your simmering bucket on, sorry, that was my dog running through with a noisy squeaky toy. Yeah, you see the varoma up there. So what I'm going to do for the next little while is put my jars, which are clean, they've been washed, but they need to be sterilised. They're going in the varoma upside down, and the lids are going to go in there as well. So literally what happens as it's cooking, that steam sterilises the jars. I'm not going to put the lid on because we do want lots of evaporation for this recipe. All right, so bear with me while I just pop this behind me, because I need to show you the next recipe, and I will turn that on just in a second because this next one takes no time at all. All right, clean bowl, like Sally. It's nice to have multiple Thermomixes and multiple bowls. All right, so the second thing I'm going to do is, it's like a seasoning. Now, my vision is, because the third recipe I'm showing you is actually an apple liqueur. So I've got a bottle of vodka here. So if you can picture sort of yummy Christmas cocktails and rimming your glasses with something delicious, that's what I'm about to make, is a seasoning to go on the rims of the glasses. So what I did earlier today, I had all my apple skins. So I just peeled my apples. They went on a baking tray and into the oven on 110 degrees for about 40 minutes. So you want to make sure that they're really crispy. If they're still too moist, they're not going to grind up very well, and you will end up with mold when you put it in the jar. But let me just cancel out of this previous recipe. And I'm just going to go into my weekly meal planner because all my recipes for today are saved in there. So I've already done the first couple of steps. And if you didn't realise this, guys, when you go into your cookie dough recipes, each of the preparation steps are numbered. And you can jump ahead in the recipe just by selecting the number that you need. So I've already done step 2. I need to go to step 3. So rather than pressing next 50 times to get there, that takes me straight to the step. So into my clean dry bowl, I'm going to put my dried apple peels. Bear with me.
I love that you've cooked the apples and saved the peel. You're so clever, Beck.
This recipe actually comes from a UK collection. It's like a low waste cookbook. So I love all that stuff. So there's our dried apple peels. And to that, I'm adding 2 cinnamon sticks. And then we're going to put in 10 to 12 whole cloves and 2 star anise. So that's what I've got in there. So you can already smell and taste, you know, the sorts of flavors that we've got happening there. And bear with me, I actually just need to wipe this measuring cup because I don't have another one handy.
She had a bit of a dilemma where she's lost all her MCs.
All my measuring cups have gone missing, guys. And I also don't have a paper towel to stick under my lid, so I need to make sure this is really dry. All right. So that's going to go in there. And I'm going to mill that up for 30 seconds on speed 9.
Who's already keen to try this? I would never have chosen those 3 recipes, but after seeing Beck do these, and I was like kind of thinking, what is she going to do with the apple peel spice mix? I love that she's thought about putting it on cocktail rims. That's just amazing.
Okay. Oh, it smells. It's kind of like that magic sugar dust that you see at a Thermix demo. Yum. All right. So, can we see what we've got there? It's just like a spice mix. And what I'm going to do is pop that into some jars. Let me tip you down. I've got a cute little funnel here because my jar's only small. I'm hoping I don't make a mess. Oh, I don't have enough hands. Hang on.
That is a very tiny funnel.
Yeah, it is that one. So there's probably, I wasn't quite sure how much this would make, guys. And in fact, it's not going through my little tiny funnel very well. So I might come back and fill the rest of that in a minute, but so that's what it looks like. And I'm gonna pop a lid on that. The rest I'm just gonna pop back in the bowl for a second until I can get it in a jar.
If only we could smell through the screen.
I know, it smells delicious.
That's
My husband has just come home from work and he's standing on the other side of the camera and he's giving me the thumbs up that yes, it does smell good.
Hi, Clinton.
All right, guys, last but not least, and I'm going to tip you back so I can see, our liqueur. So I'm not going to clean this bowl because all of the flavors that were in the spice mix are going in our liqueur. So I'm just going to move right along to the next recipe, which is right here. So this is a Danny Valent recipe from one of her entertaining cookbooks. We are going to do, and I've kept this sitting here because I wanted to give you guys a little tip. You know how apples go brown? So I've cut these up, but what I did is I've sat my simmering basket in a bowl with some water. So my apples have just been sitting in there, makes it nice and easy to pull out and throw into my Thermomix. So this is 2 Granny Smith apples. These ones we did need to peel and take the cores out. To that we're going to add a cinnamon quill. And then we're going to chop that on speed 9. So nice and fine these ones are going to be. Just for 3 seconds. All right, then we're adding the rest of our spices. So again, clove, star anise. And I might actually just give you a look because even though it was speed 9, it was still only 3 seconds. So you can see there, some of the cinnamon is still up the sides of the bowl, but that doesn't matter because once this is infused, we're actually going to strain it. So all of those solids will no longer be there. To that we add honey. So 250 grams of a good quality raw honey. Please use a really lovely honey for this, otherwise you're going to waste a bottle of vodka. So 250 grams. Just watching my scales as I pour. Nearly there. Beautiful. And then 700 grams of vodka. And I'm hoping there's enough in this bottle. Should be getting close. Just like a full one. All right, so literally now all we need to do is zhuzh that up. That's a very technical word. So speed 4 just for 30 seconds. Grab a jar.
So Beck won't be able to drink this straight away. It needs.
So the reason I've got a jar here, can you still hear me? Yes. So what we need to do now, once that's all mixed, we pour it into the jar and it needs to infuse for a whole week. So I'm going to put this in the pantry. It's going to sit there for a week undisturbed. And at the end of the week, I'm actually going to just strain it through a nut milk bag or a muslin cloth and pop it into my bottle for gifting. Or in this case, for me to drink. Okay, so that's actually foamed up quite a lot. You probably can't see that. Another tip for you, what I'm going to do, instead of using a tiny, teeny little funnel like I did a minute ago, I'm going to use the lid of my Thermomix over the top of the jar, because that's going to catch any splashes or drips. Pour that in there like so. And that was a clean, it wasn't a sterilised jar, but it was a really thoroughly washed and cleaned one. All right, oh, it smells so good. There we go. So that goes in the pantry now for a week before I strain it. And then once it's strained, that actually will be good on the shelf for indefinitely, like it'll last for ages. Yeah, any questions about any of that?
We don't have any in the chat, but if anyone wants to jump off mute, you're welcome to.
All right, if anything comes up, I'll answer it in the chat, but I'm just going to tidy up now and throw across to Angela. Right?
Yeah. Thanks, Beck. We'll check out your finished result later.
Yep.
Hey, Angela, what do you got for us? She's coming. She's on the soft cheese tonight. And I'm just going to put her recipe in the chat. So this is the melted brie with basil and lemon pesto. So I don't know if you guys have tried this one before. It's been around for a while, but it's an amazing recipe. Hang on, if I ask to unmute you, does that work? Does it come up? I can't unmute you though. You'll have to, I can only ask to unmute you. And now you'll need to unblur your screen too, Angela. Do you want me to come? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, except you can't see my Thermomix.
Can you unblur it?
See if I can do that. Okay.
Yep. Beautiful. You made it.
Tech support decided to leave the room at exactly the wrong moment. Sorry about that, everyone. So I'm Angela Anthony. I'm a Canberra-based consultant, and I'm going to be showing you the melted brie with lemon and basil pesto tonight. So actually, we'll see you melt your brie in the using your varoma. So well, I'll show you how you set all of that up. Ready to go. Sorry, my Thermomix had of course gone to sleep, so I'm just waking it back up, just give it a chance to get back online. But I do remember what the first step is, and it starts with a measuring jug on top so that I can weigh in some olive oil. So we're almost there. I'm just going to jump into my weekly meal plan. Hopefully that will come up with the items for me, and it's taking a moment.
Angela, I don't know why, but we've lost your camera.
Okay, of course, of course. Yeah, I don't know. I tried to do something clever with my settings and it's clearly been a complete.
Do you want me to tell you what's... Do you want me to come back to you?
Yeah, you might have to. I'm gonna have to get someone.
I can start my dish. So I'm up next anyway, and we're going to work together because you've also done this one. So I'm doing the festive camembert wreath. Now I did do my dough. I got everything ready early in advance for you guys. And so my dough's a little bit risen, which it's okay. I mean, it's not ideal, but that's all right. You know, it's about making things work. So I made the dough, proved for about an hour, probably a little bit less in in the summer, so maybe about 45 minutes. And then I split it into two and rolled it out into 2 pieces. Now, I used my thermomat, and it says about 30 centimeter. The thermomat round goes to 28 centimeters, so I just went a little bit wider than the circle on the thermomat. Now, this one, you start with a wheel of camembert. So that one just sits in the middle of my dough there. You guys can see that. Then I've made this mix here. Now this is a cranberry mix. So it's got eschalots, butter, dried cranberries, port. So it's got that little bit of a Christmassy vibe, salt, pepper, fresh thyme. And it says to add frozen cranberries. I couldn't find any. I know they sell them in the health food store, but they just recently run out. So I actually added raspberries instead. Probably won't recommend doing that. I just found that it's a little bit runny and there's now seeds in it, and I'm not a seed fan. Not that I'm going to be eating this because I also don't eat bread, but I don't know if my family will like the sort of raspberry cranberry taste there. So I would just, if you can't find frozen cranberries, either just add the same amount in as dried again, or just omit them altogether. So what we do with this one is we just spread it around, spread the cranberry, onion, thyme mix all the way around the outside, and you want to leave about an inch on the edges. So it's got quite a rich flavor, as you can imagine, with all of those different ingredients and the port in there.
Why does it need to?
All right. So once you've done that, you probably would use the whole lot. I just won't for the sake of today. You then sprinkle on so you've got some bacon that you've chopped up and fried. I'm just going to sprinkle some bacon around. You want to leave a little bit of each of them to dress it at the end. So put that one on. You then get some pistachios, so salted and chopped up. Sprinkle those around the outside as well. Leave a couple in for the decorating. And then my next step is to get the next piece of dough. So that one then sits on top. Actually, I'm just going to egg wash the outside. It doesn't say to do this, but I want to make sure it sticks on the edges. I'm just going to do a quick egg wash around the edge. And then I put this one on top and just close it over. So make sure it's reasonably right out to the edges. So I find that if it's a little bit puffy like mine is, it's easy to move and maneuver around. Okay, so from there, I want to pinch the edges. So I've just got a little bit of a fork. You can just pinch it with your fingers, just to stick those 2 edges together. And for the top, so you can sort of see where that cheese is sitting, you want to just cut. And the recipe, so just like Beck, I'm going to skip all the way through to the part where it tells me what to do. So place the reserve circle of dough on top, pinch the edges, seal together, and then cut directly on top of the camembert to form 8 triangles. So I'm going to try not to cut the actual camembert, just going to do a cross, and then I'm going to go again the other way. A little bit there and a little bit there. So you can sort of see that I've done, my lighting's a bit bright there. All right, and then it says to roll. Oh, make sure that's cut through. Just roll those out so they come to the edges of the camembert. It's a little roll of dough, little rolls. It's nice soft dough, this one. Okay, so you can see what I've got so far. All right, from there, now I want to get either a sharp knife. I'm going to use my dough cutter. And if you are doing this on your thermomat, just make sure you don't cut through. I'm actually going to take it off the pizza tray to do this. If that's going to, ridges are going to get in the way. And so I'm going to make 16 pieces. So I cut into the 4 edges, so I create quarters. So they're nice and even as much as you can. I then go into 8s. So I cut each quarter in half again. Slicing through. You guys can see that. I then go again. So 1 more for each one. So I'm going to go into 16s. And this is actually an amazing tool. This one's from the Mix Shop. It's got quite a sharp edge. And it's, yeah, so it's really easy to cut through this dough like this. One and that one. All right. So far, so good, hey? Check it out. Then the next step, once I've done that, is to twist each section of dough 90 degrees to create the rays of the sun. So if I start with one piece, I just want to go 90 degrees, and you want them all to go in the same direction. So I'm just giving it a half turn and placing it back down. Half turn, until I've gone all the way around like this. And then once I've done that, I brush it with my egg, my beaten egg, and I bake that in the oven. So I'm going to dress it afterwards with the leftover stuff. So Angela, did you jump off the spotlight? Hang on.
Yeah, sorry, I had to fix my issues by leaving the room and coming back in again.
Ah, that's okay. All right, yeah, show us what you did earlier.
So this is the one I prepared earlier this evening. Everyone, sorry, I might just try and tilt my camera, get a bit of a better angle on that, hopefully. So we do just want to assure you, I'd never made it before tonight. So just follow exactly what Claire, the tricky part really is just purely in the assembly. That's the one you sort of need to know. Sometimes it's a bit hard just with written instructions to work out exactly what's meant. So I do just want to assure you, you've seen Claire show you the most difficult part of the whole process. So you absolutely now know everything you need to know to make this yourself at home.
Awesome. Well, thank you for making it to show us the end result, because these things look so much better when they're baked than they do before you bake them. And I've going a really yellow egg yolk, so that's going to look beautiful like a sun. There, check that out. I'm going to let that prove probably for just maybe 5 minutes. It doesn't say to prove it, but just want to give it a little bit longer to puff up, and then I'll put that in the oven. All right, Angela, are you ready for us?
I am, absolutely. All right. So we're going to start the recipe now. I've got my jug up there as mentioned. And we're just going to weigh in 30 grams of olive oil. Our next step is, so half a zest of a lemon, well, half a lemon zest. I've just done a whole one just because I'm quite happy to have quite a strong lemon flavour in there, and also just seem preferable to the other half of the lemon zest going in the bin. 50 grams of parmesan. I've just got some cubed parmesan here that I'm throwing in. Okay. 2 garlic cloves, peeled earlier. So that can all go on now, and that's going to get blitzed at speed 9 for 10 seconds. So just bear with me while I do that. No surprises for anyone there. That's what how our cheese and lemon zest and garlic's now looking. So I'm just going to scrape down the sides as per the recipe and instructions. Tear my scales, and I'm gonna put in 40 grams of lemon juice, which they're saying is about the juice of one lemon, which I sometimes find it confusing. I'm glad they've actually got a gram recipe for us, because lemons come in all different sizes. So then we put in 100 grams of roasted pine nuts. I roasted these earlier. They're way too brown, but I'm not going to let that worry me, because I don't want them to go to waste. And I figure, like, you know, all the other flavors in here are going to cover all my sins. I did 5 minutes with these in the air fryer, and then I was like, oh no, they're not quite done. I'll come back for another 3 minutes. An initial 3 minutes was way too much. So I suggest maybe just 6 minutes should probably cover it. 6 minutes at 180 degrees. If you've got an air fryer.
I burn my nuts every time I try to roast them.
Yeah, my view is the air fryer should be a bit like a Thermomix, set and forget. And that's just fatal with nuts. Don't do it. You just probably need to pay a bit more attention. So now I'm popping in 20 grams of fresh basil. Basil, for some reason, is something else that seems a bit tricky to find at the moment. And I basically told my husband not to come back home without it. And eventually he found some in a pot in the gift section at Costco. So a Christmas gift section had a pot of basil in it. So I've just had to raid that as best I could. That's the best I could do. Just a pinch of salt. Whenever I've tried to grow basil in my garden, all the snails have been in the neighbourhood, have all moved in and been very happy with me. So I've never.
You know what I've learned to do with basil is plant like 1,000 seeds and just let them all grow.
Yeah, good advice. All right, we're just going to give that a quick blitz, speed fire for 4 seconds.
The other thing you could do with this dip is replace the pine nuts with cashews. So pine nuts can be quite expensive. And I find, yeah, making pesto with cashews is just as nice. So just an idea to make it a bit cheaper, a bit diverse.
So I've just given this a scrape. I think it's asking, yeah. Now this is when the oil is going to come in, so we're taking out our measuring cup. So we're going to give this another blitz while we then pour in some of our oil. One thing I would say is I haven't probably had quite enough basil, and if I'd been a bit more organized and known that I was a bit short, I probably just would have added in some parsley instead. Really just about making sure this looks nice and green. So just bear with me between my burned pine nuts and not quite enough greenery. It's going to look a little bit different to hopefully the way yours does at home if you want to give this recipe a go. So this is one where, sorry, just to explain when you come to this in recipe, because it is going to, all it's giving us guidance on is what speed to turn it to. It hasn't set a time in the pre-programming. So we're going to work out how long it needs as it goes. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to come over here, turn the selector to 3 without my measuring cup, and then I'm just going to, this is going in slowly.
Thanks, Alice. Bye. Alice has wished us happy Christmas.
So it's all gone in, and I've just stopped that now that it's all gone in there. So that was about sort of just over 20 seconds just to do that process, just so you've got a sense. I'm not going to show you my pesto. I don't want to give you the wrong idea.
It'll be fine, Angela. And you're lucky, like you're on Zoom. No one actually has to try it. The doesn't look very green, does it?
It's meant to look more aesthetically pleasing than that. Please just know that. Now it does want me to put that in a bowl. I'm going to put that in a bowl later because we want to get on to melting our brie. So I'm just quickly just throwing in again, as the other presenters have tonight, the convenience of another bowl, just throwing in another clean bowl. I'm going to turn my scales. And we weigh in 500 grams of water.
I like your kettle. Does it have like a little, what's that gauge on the side? Tells you if the pressure's getting up there.
Honestly, yeah, so that's actually a temperature gauge there. I don't really pay a lot of attention to it, just wait for it to turn off. This is my I know these people have commented on this kettle before in these classes. This is the fancy Laura Ashley kettle that my sister gave me for my birthday last year.
Love it.
Just for the record, it boils the water same as any other kettle. All right, so we want to get our variegator sorted. I've sort of prepared these steps, but I'll just show you what I've done. It's asking for the variegator to go in position, and what I've done, I'm just going to try and show you here. I've got some baking paper sitting in the bottom with my brie on top. The recipe says 125-gram brie. I've gone a bit bigger than that, mainly just because I find sort of when I was digging around at the shops, the better quality bries came in the slightly bigger size. And when I sort of made sure I was familiar with the recipe and ran through this the other day, I used one of the smaller, less expensive ones, and I just found I wasn't entirely happy with how well it melted. But so feel free to experiment with what brand of brie and just how melty you want it to be. So that's in position now. I've made sure just there's room for the steam to be coming around the baking paper still. So that's all those steps ready to go. And then on the tray, I've got some cherry tomatoes, which are meant to be sort of part of the presentation. They're meant to be on the vine, but basically the tomatoes are falling off the vine. So there is a little bit of vine here, you can see, not as much as I was hoping for.
You're keeping it real there, Angela.
Guys, if you're in any doubt about what sort of consultant you'd make, if I can do it, anyone can do it. So, you know, don't let doubts about your ability hold you back. Just jump in and give it a go. So we're going to now just steam that. We're putting it on for 14 minutes. It does say you can extend that by 2 minutes. Given my experience the other day, I'm just going to straight up just extend that to 16 minutes, particularly also because I know I'm using a slightly bigger brie.
Awesome. Amazing. And look, Angela's an amazing cook, but some of our best consultants have been terrible cooks. So to Angela's point, yes, you don't have to know how to cook to be a consultant. However, Angela is not one of those not good cooks.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think that's it for you and me, isn't it? So we're going back to Sally and we're going to Meg's as well. So I'm going to replace our spotlights. And Megs, you're ready to come up too.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello. I've still got 6 minutes 45 to go. Megs, do you want to start the lemonade now?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, then.
Perfect.
We'll go
So
back. Yeah.
my name's Megs. I'm a consultant based in Canberra. I'm one of the people that didn't know how to cook before I became a consultant. And I'm pretty excited tonight that I'm making a cocktail. One of the many things you can make with your Thermomix, especially this time of year. If you need to have a little break, you can have a Minty vodka lemonade, different type of lemonade, which is super exciting, what I'm about to show you. So the recipe is the Minty vodka lemonade. I think Claire's going to drop that in the chat. One little trick that I've learnt is that you can take a piece of paper towel, and I learned that you could put it in the lid to stop the sugar from coming up, but you can actually place it on the Thermomix like that too, which stops the powder or the whatever it is you're milling going up into the lid as well. So the first step is putting, it's 6 ounces of sugar to taste. So I did that so Claire didn't have to watch. Next, I'm putting in 3 lemons, thin peels. So I just want to show you what that looks like. So I peeled a lemon, but it's super fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that, and that's 3 lemons. So I have a whole bowl of that. That's going straight in. And I love this step. You can do it for several recipes. We're going to pop in our mint as well. And then I'm going to pop the lid on. And we're going to, oh, just split that. Oh, it's only 10 seconds. I thought we were going to melt the sugar. Never mind. So we're going to do that for 10 seconds at speed 10. The magic is happening. We made some mojito cheesecake the other day, which was super fun, as well as some mojito. So we're trying out things. Oh, look at this. Woo-hoo. So that is sugar, the lemon peel. But I love when you peel the lemon, you get the oil from the lemon peel, and that we've just beat up for 10 seconds with the sugar and the mint. Oh my goodness, that smells absolutely divine. The next step is with a sharp knife, remove and discard pith from peeled lemons so that they look something like this. So we've removed as much as the pith as possible. Then I'm going to put them in the flesh, 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to put the lid on next. And again, I'm just going to do that for 2 seconds at speed 10. Now, I've made other lemonade, which you don't even peel the lemon. So it's important that you only do it for the 2 seconds. So that's 2 seconds, 1, 2. Now I'm going to scrape down the sides of the bowl with the spatula. Woohoo! Our lemonade is coming. So this smells so delicious, and we haven't even added the vodka. Oh my gosh, it smells absolutely divine. Next step is the 40 ounces of water. It's quite a lot. More than I was expecting, because I don't know what I'm doing with ounces, everybody. But that's the cool thing about the Thermomix, is it doesn't matter, because the Thermomix just switches over if you do happen to pick a recipe from a different continent that uses different type of measuring. Oh my gosh, a lot. I wanted to save my jug. Okay, so we're nearly there, 40 ounces. Now we're going to add 7 to 10 ounces of vodka. Obviously, we're going with 10. If you can get the vodka on sale, that's fun. Well, this is much easier to pour. Ooh, pretty close.
That makes a lot. Look at that.
I know. Look at that's, you know where that is? That's at the 2 liter mark right now. You could now I'm just going to, for 20 seconds, go to speed 4. I was just thinking about variations. If you wanted to not put the water in, you could add sparkling water afterwards if you want a little bit of fizz. Some people like fizz at this time of year. Now I'm going to make a mess as well, just to show you that being a consultant, we get to be real. It says strain lemonade mixture through a fine sieve. So this is where I think it's going to get a little bit messy, especially because it's 2 liters. Who mentioned that having a second bowl is always handy? So here's my idea, team. I was going to use the the basket. Sometimes you can put the basket in and strain that way. But I was talking to Sally, and she's way better at cocktails than I am. And she said, if you've got a sieve, it's going to be much tidier. So I'm just going to put the sieve on my second bowl. I'm going to pick up that. Claire was telling me the other day there's some special fancy way you can hold a jug I don't know how it is. So maybe someone else can teach everyone that, because I don't know what to do.
Under
So
the
I'm just
handle,
gonna.
Megs. Under the handle, yeah, with the other hand.
I don't understand, Claire. It just seems very awkward. I haven't even had one yet, everybody. Unlike these other people, I waited to do it live, so then I can have my vodka lemonade tonight. So look at that. Oh, and that's what little bits left in the bowl. Look at how sparkly that bowl is, though. You should at least do yourself a favor and have one of these this Christmas so you can give your bowl a good clean.
I'm glad I didn't give you my small sieve, Megs.
And then
Yeah, I didn't even own a sieve. I had to borrow one, everybody. But that's how committed I am. When you're a consultant, you're surrounded by a community of people, and you get to learn lots on your journey as well. Sally, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, has anyone made the margarita, the classic margarita from the new summer edition of the magazine? So that one is a must, and it uses as well the sieve, the simmering basket, not the sieve, to just strain off the kind of lemon, because you're putting a whole lemon halved into the Thermomix as well. So depending on the drink, on the beverage, you can use your simmering basket or a sieve. I find it'll be interesting to see what Meg's what she thinks at the end. But if you haven't tried that margarita out of the magazine, it's a different way or method, so give it a go.
Looking good. It's got a lovely clink sound. And because we always presentation, pop a little bit of mint on that. And this is my special Christmas glass. I don't know if you can read it all, everyone. We've got options. So tonight I'm going to be naughty with my vodka minty lemonade. Cheers. Oh, that's delicious.
Fantastic.
How's that chutney going?
Yes, perfect. We've just finished the cooking stage. So I'm just taking off the simmering basket now. And our next one is just to give that a mix, and then we'll have a little look at it. And we're just going to go to speed 4 just to give this a really good mix through. 10 seconds. I'll just take a look. This was really bubbling away like jam does on a traditional stovetop. So it really is an amazingly safe way to do it. So I'm just going to have a look. Smells amazing. And I'm just going to pop this down as well. So you can see my dark light isn't probably picking up the light. That's better. There we go. So our next step is basically now to let cool and then store. Now again, what I did as well was sterilize some jars, got those ready to go. Traditionally this would be cooled down and then poured into the jar and then turned upside down to seal the jar, and then basically let it cool and store. So I'm just wondering, Megs, can I hand over to you? Can I?
Yeah.
Hand this
you want to hand over to me?
You.
Yeah, fabulous. I got that. And let me just take off my lid. Oh, and here's one I prepared earlier. Look at that.
Wow.
This is a beautiful jar of mango chutney. Here is a little cute idea, just a little bit of wrapping paper with a ribbon. This is a 500-gram jar. So actually, I made these earlier and I followed that tip where you tip it upside down, and it does take away the little clippy, snippy, whatever that little buttony thing is on the jar. So, so that's what it looks like without the ribbon and a little bit of wrapping paper. And that's a great gift to be able to give someone homemade in your Thermomix with love, mango chutney.
Absolutely. Yeah. Delicious. And again, yeah, you can choose different fruits as well, but that one looks absolutely amazing. I'm going for smaller jars because I'm hoping to give lots of little hamper mix of different gifts as well. So I'll let that cool down.
Amazing. Beck, what have you got to show us?
All right, so my apple butter is now cooked. You wouldn't have noticed this, but whilst you were chatting, I was supposed to put a plate in the freezer. So whenever you're making jams, jellies, that sort of thing, you need to kind of cool it down to figure out whether it's going to set or not. So I just grabbed an ice brick out of the freezer and popped a little bit of it on top of that. And you just want to make sure that it kind of sets to the point where when you slide your finger across it, it sort of makes, it goes wrinkly. Like that sort of shows you that it is going to set once it goes in the fridge. So what we got is my jars. These were the ones, remember, I steamed in the baroma whilst I was cooking the butter. We're just going to pop some of that in there. I mean, you've seen this. The girls did this as well, but I'll pour some of that in there. The other way, if I'm doing a lot of preserving, guys, I also use my oven to sterilize jars. So you can just pop your jars in the oven at about 100 degrees for 10, 20 minutes. And always make sure, bear with me. Yeah, so if I'm doing lots, I do them in the oven just because it's faster. I'm just wiping the rim of that just with a tissue before I put the lid on.
Hey, Beck, if it doesn't set properly, do you just keep cooking it in the Thermomix?
Yeah, sorry. So yes, if you test for set and it isn't the consistency you're looking for, you do just pop it back on for a few more minutes, which is what I did. And as Sally said, to get an extra good seal, you can tip that upside down on the bench. I tend not to bother. As long as you've got a hot jar and a hot ingredient going in there, you're usually pretty okay. So the other thing I was going to show you, oh, hang on, I don't like not being able to see everybody. I'm just going to give you some ideas here. Package up all your bits and pieces. As I said, this was an apple theme, so I've just grabbed a basket. I'm going to have my apple butter, which, like Meg's did, I've just used some little fabric ones on the lids with an elastic band. So just imagine that's got apple butter in it. I also earlier made some applesauce, so great for your pork at Christmas time. So that's just the one that's in the basic cookbook. I've popped a little fabric cap on that one as well. There's that apple spice mix. So I'm intending to use that to rim cocktail glasses, but you can also use it in mulled wine or in tea to help give it that lovely apple and spice flavour. And then I've just draped a little swing tag over a bottle that I'm going to put that apple liqueur in a week once it's all done. And we're good for gifting. Chuck in a pretty tea towel, whatever you like, and people will be happy.
Amazing. And just think about how much you'd pay if you bought that in a shop, in a gourmet shop.
Yep. Indeed.
Yep. All right, we ready to show our end result before we wrap up? Mine's in the oven. I'll get it out, but it's not finished. So I'll just show you half of what's there. Not dressed yet. Angela has the other one. All right, have we all got our food? What are you showing us, Angela? What have you got, Sally?
Oh, it's heavy.
I know, mine is too. All right, cheers. Amazing, thank you. It's going back in the oven. All right, well, if you guys don't have any questions, thank you for hanging out with us this year. We have so much fun doing this once a month with you, and we will continue into next year, second Wednesday night of every month. We've already decided the themes for the first 6 months, so we'll get those out to you in the wrap-up email. We'll give you a little bit of a heads up of what's to come. Thank you for your feedback. If you were in the Canberra Thermomixers Facebook group, you gave us your ideas on what you wanted to see more of. And thank you, huge thank you to my team here who do this with me, and Megan as well. So Megan and I run these in our 2 branches, and we have amazing consultants working in their homes presenting each month with us. And yeah, we're really grateful for what they contribute for us and also for you guys. And I'm sure you walk away from these events feeling a little bit inspired to love your Thermomix just a little bit more. So Merry Christmas to everyone. Have an amazing new year. We can't wait to see you in 2025. December's not yet finished, so if you've got friends who need Thermomixes before Christmas, reach out to your consultant. And if you want to come on board and join us, we would love to have you. We are always looking for more people to share the Thermomix love. And my dog's being very annoying right now and needs to come inside. Awesome. I'm going to stop recording, but we'll answer any questions if you guys have them.